YTN과 한국외대가 주최하는 중학생 영어 토론 대회. 올해 첫 대회엔 전국 104개 팀 312명의 중학생이 참가했습니다. 대회는 예선 5라운드 성적 상위 16개 팀이 본선에 진출해 결승까지 토너먼트 방식으로 진행됩니다. 토론 주제는 대회 한 달 전 주어지는 준비 주제와 라운드 시작 40분 전에 주어지는 즉석 주제 등 두 가지가 있으며 찬성팀과 반대팀은 추첨으로 결정됩니다.
Now, let's talk about our motion and clarify what we mean by three terms. First, mandate. We're going to mandate by opt-out system where we receive every healthy organs unless you do not make an exception. In the status quo, we're doing an opt-in system where if we do not make any exceptions, our organs are not donated currently. Now, by organ donation, we mean the removal of the tissues of the human body from a person who has recently died, only accepting the healthy organs and the productive ones. Now, what we mean by death, ladies and gentlemen, is when the medical team declares that that person has died. Now, moving on to our deeper ground of debate, what do we have in order to... No, thank you, sir. In order to support our own case, three main ideas. First is about how organ donation is a crucial necessity in the status quo. Second is about the black market issue. And lastly, our wonderful second speaker will come up and talk about the benefits of organ donation. Now, let's talk about the necessity of organ donation. Yes, sir.
How does the opt-out policy becomes mandating if it gives a choice?
Because, sir, if you do not approach the government and say, no, I do not want my organs to be taken out, no matter who you are, no matter which status you have, your organs will be donated without exception, unless you step up to the government and deny the fact. Now, no, thank you, sir. Now, moving into our constructive case of necessity of organs. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to make this in two steps. First, the usefulness. Second, about the desperate need of organ donation. First, why is this useful and why is this necessity right now? Because after death, ladies and gentlemen, the corpse do not need organs anymore. Wow, isn't it? No, thank you, sir. Wow, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Because organs are for living people. And organs are not needed when you die because all they do is decompose and become to another dust, ladies and gentlemen. Thus, sit down. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, organ donation, when that people do not need that organs anymore, it is useful to, and it is efficient, it is right to give those healthy organs to the people who are needed in crucial necessity for that. Yes, sir, I'll take yours.
Well, can you actually prove or give an example of how much organ can we get?
Yes, we will get to that point, sir, in our next step, which is that desperate need and urgency of organ donation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's think about Korea, the land we are standing right now. Korea, 200 to 300 donor per year comes up and say that they are going to donate their organs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, compared to that, how many people are in the waiting list of being donated to these organs? Ladies and gentlemen, it's 18,000 people that are in waiting list. Thus, 200 to 300 organs donated per year does not make any change to these people because there are sacrifices. And the problem, why? Because there are so less organ donors that approach the government and say that they will donate their organs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 2% among those needed organs patients are receiving their healthy organs and reviving. Meaning that out of 100 patients, only 2 people can have only 2 people can have the opportunity to live with healthy organs, meaning that 98 people are being sacrificed because of these lack of organ donators. Thus, we believe in government's eminent domain, that actually government should take the organs for the better need, which we are fighting for, which is the human life, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's talk about our second argument, which is about black market. Let's talk about the major black market characteristic. First, extremely high cost because there are no government control. Second, not guaranteed and not professional products, meaning because of the lack of government control and fake product comes up. Thirdly, about the health and the procedure problem. Lastly, about the facilities, ladies and gentlemen. Can we really depend on these facilities? We're not sure. Because it's black market, it's something illegal, ladies and gentlemen. We believe in the human life, thus believing that this kind of black market, this kind of organ theft should never be allowed, and believing that these kind of patients, ladies and gentlemen, these patients are in desperate need of living. And we believe dead people should sacrifice for the living people, because living people is pursuing what? For the present and for the future. Thank you.
The government is only looking at the short-term benefits of these kind of policy, but not seeing the long-term, as I'm going to further improve on. Our point of today's debate is that this policy might save lives, but it doesn't save. This policy might, in their perspective, save lives, but in our perspective and in reality, it doesn't in the first place, and it only makes the problem worse. Now, for the first of the we'll have 4 arguments to prove this. First argument will be about the role of the government. Second will be about the human dignity and rights. Third argument will be about the inefficiency. Fourth argument will be about the counterproductiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly for the role of the government. By social contract, people give the power to the government, and therefore government has the rights or the power to give taxes, enforce laws, and etc. And we believe that because these power come from the citizens of the society, ladies and gentlemen, the government have the obligation to protect people's right and freedom. Now, to continue on to my first argument, ladies and gentlemen, because there is incidents that government mistakes by short term, such as Iraq war, which also was only concentrated on the society or the defense of the society, that they didn't actually think about anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's becoming a huge problem to the national society and America. Like this, government should not be the ones who only are concerned about short-term benefits, but people who should also pursue the long-term benefit for the society. Now, to go on to the second argument about the human dignity and rights. Ladies and gentlemen, what will the citizens think if a government person comes and rips off your mother when she was in an accident or she died? And no, thank you. We believe this will happen because in organ donation, the process has to be efficient and fast. There is no time to waste because, as they have just said, as time goes on, no thank you, it decays and it can't be used. Ladies and gentlemen, and also the human dignity of the person who's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, human dignity is a thing that should be protected. It shouldn't be a matter in fact of what is better or which is not. No thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe human dignity should be protected in any case, and therefore we oppose to this. Our argument presented by me was 2, role of the government and human dignity and rights. Thank you.
Now going on to rebuttals. The opposition have stated that the opt-out system won't work, but I will tell you that they didn't have done enough research. Because in Britain, the Prime Minister have done a survey and 90% of the citizens said yes to organ donation and they are willing to donate their organs. But look at the fact that only 25 of this 90% of people that said yes has actually done organ donation. No, thank you, sirs. And are in the organ donor list. Now, what does this prove? It proves that people are willing to do organ donation, but the opt-in system we have in the status quo just does not provoke these people enough so that they goes up to government and does all these stressful procedures and then become an
More information,
organ
sir.
donor. Oh, no, thank you, sir. And firstly, they have mentioned,
Point of
oh, thank you,
information.
sir, about the role of the government. But we say that the role of the government is to save lives. Now, they have also painted you a picture, no, thank you, sir, about ripping off your mother's dead body in front of the funeral. But that's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the government officials just don't just go into the funeral and rips off your mother's body. That's not the case. Always, these bodies, when they die, they're taken to hospital because medical surgeons have to prove that they're dead.
More information,
No, thank you, sir. And these organs are taken safely and they're recovered and they're filled up. And these families will be proud because if my father had died and donated organs and saved 6 people, then I'll be proud of my dad because my dad did what's right. And also about human dignity, but we say
More
human life
information,
is
sir.
always more important than human dignity. No, thank you, sir. But we do agree that some reasons, such as religious reasons, and people just cannot bear the idea of their corpses getting ruined. And that's why we do the opt-out system. No, thank you, sir. And going on to my constructive argument. No, thank you, sir. I'll talk about the benefits. Firstly, the donor. They're sending out the message that the opportunity to save another person is a gift. And they're making a peaceful society and a harmonious society. No, thank you, sir. These donors have nobly saved these recipients' lives. These recipients who receive these donors are saved by these donors. And they remember their hardships and pain they went through and how they were saved by these donors and the gratitude towards these donors. And what becomes is that these recipients that have gotten these organs from the donors donate their organs that are useful and functioning because they have felt the gratitude to these donors. And the love and peace is spread to the society and this will build a society that helps others out. And thirdly, about the nation sends out a message that we are thinking about these human lives, not just human dignity they're talking about. And these nations will actually solve these problems of organ donation. And thank you for listening.
We believe that they're completely being too idealistic and they're not being realistic. They said that this incentive for the donors of organs is to create a happy and peaceful society. Yes, this is great. However, ladies and gentlemen, if this is a natural incentive, why are we mandating it in the first place? And secondly, in the status quo, why are we seeing a lack of organ donors? The proposition themselves admitted that the status quo has a lack of organ donors, and therefore this is contradictory logic. Now let me move on to the argument of my 2 arguments. Firstly, inefficiency, and secondly, counterproductivity. The argument of inefficiency basically means that if we implement this policy, even if we will see great lack in organs, and we will see this policy failing due to inefficiency. What this means is that among many deaths are accidental where the organs cannot be used. And according to their policy of opt-out policy, all the people who do not want to donate their organs just because, even if it's the reason for just because they don't want to, can opt out. And also, we do not have a good enough system to transport these organs to the nearest hospitals. In order for a fresh eye to be donated, it has to be donated within 15 minutes. It has to go to the hospital within 15 minutes. And we believe that the transportation system is not as developed. Moving on to the argument of counterproductivity, we will rather see a rise in need of organs because it'll give a wrong idea to our citizens. I have 2 subpoints. Firstly, people will become irresponsible of their health because if they want organ donation, these people can just because of the fact that they can get organs whenever they want, ladies and gentlemen, these people will become irresponsible of their health. These people will start smoking, drinking to exceed the limit. And we will see from here that this is not a society we want to promote. And also, it deters and hurts the development of medical science. This is because of the fact that the government, if as they suggest, that organs, we do not see anymore the lack of organs, then we will not feel the need anymore to develop medical science to form artificial organs, which will help us in the long run. And therefore, because of all these reasons, we strongly and proudly beg to oppose.
Ladies and gentlemen, the opponent's team today comes to the podium and said, "How dare you?" Now, I'm going to ask them a question. How dare you? How dare the opposition leave the thousands of people who are in desperate need of organ donors? We ask that question. Now, before I go on to the main two classes for today's debate, let me rebut to some of the ridiculous points made by the opponent team. So first, they have said that, people will start to be irresponsible for their own health because, we have organ donors that are waiting for us if we have something that happens to us. Now, really, I asked every person sitting in this room, do you want to risk the surgery? Do you want to risk changing your organs with another person? Do you really think you will become any more irresponsible? We see this as ridiculous. So, and the opposition here is being very irresponsible. So they're saying that we don't want the opt-out system, but what are they trying to say? What else can the government do? Are they saying that it's okay for people to die because human dignity is important? We see that as very irresponsible. No, thank you, sir. For the opt-in system, if you donate organs, then you are the exception. However, if you change it into an opt-out system, then if you do not donate your organs, then you're the exception. Now, the majority of people do not want to be in the exception unless they have great passion to be in that exception. And this is why we are saying okay to those who are religious, who have strong belief that they should not give their organs to people. And this is why we make an opt-out system to make, no thank you, sirs. To give them a chance to say no. However, because the majority says it's okay to give out, but they don't want to go through the stress of going through, for example, going to the government and saying, yes, I want to donate, because that takes a lot of time and effort, because they don't want to do that. This is why we have such low donated organs. We have told you about the case in Britain. 90% of citizens say, okay, they're willing to give their organs, but only the 25% of them give the organs because they do not bother to do that. And we have also, as benefit, given you the cycle. For example, I'm the one who were able to live because somebody else had given an organ to me. Now, what am I going to do? No, thank you, sir. I got an organ and I lived. Of course, I should donate also. Now, and they've also had a problem about the government suddenly breaking into a funeral and then taking away the corpse so that they can take the organs, ladies and gentlemen. But do you really think that the government is going to do that? We told you about rich and poor discrimination because it's only the rich that can take action because, obviously they're rich, they are able to pay for that organ they're desperately in need. But how about the poor? We want to save the poor also, and this is why we say the opt-out system is the way to go. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the debate, I have found three clashes that will wrap up the debate and that will prove that the opposition side has taken the debate home. Now, the first clash I have found is about the role of the government. The second clash I found is about the rights and dignity of people. And the third clash I found is about the effectiveness of the policy. And this is going to deal with the issue, will the opt-out policy save more lives and health? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go on to my first clash. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today the role of the government of the opposition side was about long-term benefits and protecting human rights and dignity. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that many adjudicators here heard about this, but once more, please. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this deals with the issue of social contract, and since the government is given power by the citizens, the government needs to be loyal to the citizens. And what does the citizens want? It is saving lives and protecting rights. And also, the citizens also want long-term benefits. And let me give an example. Let's say that there's a government who claims, oh, we are going to reduce tax. Well, ladies and gentlemen, some might be, yay, but some people won't. Why is that? Because they think their children, their grandsons are not going to get the benefits that are going to, all these kind of public welfare that they are going to get. And that is the reason why many people actually, in fact, pursue long-term benefits. However, on the other side, what is the role of the government of the proposition?
Point,
ladies
sir.
and gentlemen, they were already talking about short-term benefits, about organ donation, that organ donation is going to save lives. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we see that this is very flawed because, first of all, it's not effective and that it does not provide any rights, which I am going to provide in my 2 classes. And also, ladies and gentlemen, they were talking about how saving life is so important, how saving life should be the first priority. Then, ladies and gentlemen, why don't you ban alcohol? Why don't you ban cigarettes, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, as a result, the government does not know what kind of range they should restrict. They don't know until when they should restrict, ladies and gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go on to the second class. Okay.
Well then, sir, please explain another policy that can save these people in waiting lists.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to let them do it. Why do you have to force it, ladies and gentlemen? Because the policy that they have been providing does not work. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now let me go on to the dignity and the rights of people, whether it will be protected. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me divide it into 2 parts, when the people are dead and when the people are not dead. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what will the families feel? Now, they will be talking about like, how families are not going to feel grief and that they're going to feel pride or so on. But ladies and gentlemen, if they are calling for mandate, ladies and gentlemen, it's not doing for their own will. It's like doing because of the government, ladies and gentlemen. And the parents, the people are not going to feel good about this. They are going to feel sad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me go on to my 3rd class about effectiveness. Which policy will save more lives? First of all, ladies and gentlemen, their policy in the very first place had very many fallacies. First of all, they were talking about opt-out policy and how it will work. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they said the reason why they are putting exceptions is because there might be people that goes against their religious views. Ladies and gentlemen, then they should at least keep the other people that does not have any religious reasons to donate their organs. And also, ladies and gentlemen, about the inefficiency. There are not many organs in the current status quo, so we say that giving organs won't work. And even though they are, we say that the policy that they are proposing does not have the efficient way to deliver these organs. We say that this is very bad. And also, ladies and gentlemen, people will be irresponsible. And the reason why they say that people are not irresponsible is that you guys are not irresponsible. That is because we do not have organ donation. It is because we do not mandate organ donations. And if we mandate organ donations, we say that people will become irresponsible. And also, it will deter the science that are going to lead to more development of medical science, which is going to benefit our society. So we are very proud to oppose to this motion. Thank you.
Now, we'll hear the reply from the opposition first.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make one thing clear before we start. This is not a utopia. This is not a utopia. This is a realistic society where people live, where people pursue not abstract benefits, as they were saying, about how they can be proud of, but actually, sadly, people actually pursue what they can get, such as the encouragement they were talking about, for as an example, but didn't put in their policy exactly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's not an idealistic society where people are all happy, are so encouraged to give their organs to strangers or random people. And this can be just seen by the fact that they admitted that there is a problem in the status quo, that people are not giving the organs to or donating the organs to the government. And to clear out the debate, I'm going to talk about why our team has won this whole debate. Now, for the government's role. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that the government side is totally neglecting the citizens or not respecting the citizens, because just quoting the last statement the opposition government came up with, ladies and gentlemen, they said that, well then, while we're preparing for a funeral, we can actually cut the body and take out the organs and then put it back or present it or package it back so that nobody can know. Ladies and gentlemen, what kind of government is this? Now, this government is now, as our opposition whip I've just stated, fooling the citizens and then now we don't see any rights of citizens protected in this case. Now, second point about what provides moral rights. As we have stated continuously, ladies and gentlemen, this goes against human dignity. And for the third of the efficiency of the policy, as we said, ladies and gentlemen, there are not a lot of organs that we can actually use. If it's too old, we cannot use it. As he said, if we are died of accidents and we accidentally opt out in this case, well, we cannot use this organ because it's all crushed. We cannot use it because it's too old. And even if they shame about it, it's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. They cannot actually shame about a fact. And that's also proving themselves that they are too idealistic. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we are the ones realistic in the debate. They're too idealistic, pursuing utopia where nothing can be protected in this case. Thank you.
Okay, we'll hear the reply from the proposition.
We want to make these helpful organs to save these people in the waiting list who are suffering, who are facing death because of lack of organ donation. And that is what the proposition case has been clearly telling you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's talk about this debate with three main values that we have to fulfill. First, necessity. Second, benefits. And lastly, the right. Necessity, ladies and gentlemen, 2% is a low percentage to save 18,000 people who are suffering and waiting death for the consequences of lack of organ donation. Opt-out system, ladies and gentlemen, if you just by you staying here, living, and thinking that I don't really care about organ donation, just by doing that and just by not stepping up to the government and saying that I don't want my organs to be donated, well, ladies and gentlemen, you suddenly become an organ donor, which is a very positive thing because many people will begin to donate their organs because of this opt-out system. This is what we call incentive opposition. Now, last value is about the right. We had talked about the eminence domain, how government can take your possession if that is for the better value. Government having the right to protect the unprivileged one, ladies and gentlemen, who are not wealthy enough to pay through the high cost through black market. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, this is a time when we need a strong and firm policy from the government because that is the government right, that is the government responsibility, and that is the government's duty. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition not having any other alternative to save these people in waiting lists, waiting to die, facing death, we, the proposition, strongly believe that organ donation should be the way to go. Thank you.
The first YTN House Junior Youth English Debating Championships, the grand champion. Congratulations, Team Capella.
축하드립니다. 팀 카펠라 축하드립니다.
다 같이 그래도 팀으로서 하나가 돼서 잘 생각해보고 우리 힘들어도 좀 더 많이 노력을 하면서 그렇게 열정적으로 했던 게 준비할 시간은 그렇게 없었는데요. 그냥 모두 같이 모여서 그 표피엘 모션 같은 경우에 그 아르규멘트 준비를 하고 또 상대방이 뭐라고 할까 그런 것도 준비를 하고.
제 장래희망은 변호사고요. 그래서 제가 펼치는 주장을 논리적으로 말하는 걸 좀 연습하고 싶어요.
저는 검사 쪽으로 해보고 싶고요.